second scale step, or flat 2 for short, is one of only 2 notes that doesn't appear in major or minor scales. Maybe as a result, it has a history as a special note in Western music. In classical repertoire, it's been described as murky, tense, surprising, and somewhat dark, and it's been associated with pain, lament, the supernatural, exoticism, and sadness. In popular music, it can be a signifier of power in metal, and it's the least common scale degree in rock music. But in 21st century pop music, it's taken on yet another connotation. Listen to this medley of clips featuring flat 2s in the backing track.
What I wanna be. For those who don't know me, I can get a bit crazy. Have to get my way up 24 hours a day, 'cause I'm hot like every guy everywhere.
You see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. I'll let you whip me if I misbehave.
And as the lights bounce off your gown, baby, I can't help but stare. And as the lights are going brown, give me action. Give me satisfaction.
You got to, let's do the thing. Get naked, let's do the thing. For me, let's do the thing. Get naked.
As you might have heard from this medley, in post-2000s pop, particularly synth-driven dance-style pop, flat 2 has become a sonic signal of hotness. Listening through hundreds of records by top-charting pop artists, I collected 75 examples that use a flat 2. Depending on how we classify it, around 65 to 70 of these songs have subject matter relating to hotness. In the traditional Euro-American music theory classroom, flat 2 usually refers to the Neapolitan chord, a triad built on the lowered second scale step. But dance-style pop music doesn't necessarily involve 3 or 4 note chords, often using only a single note bass line with a melody and a supporting texture. So when I say flat 2, I don't mean a functional harmony or even a chord. I just mean the note a half step above whatever we're hearing as the home note, or 1. As we heard in the introductory medley, hot flat 2 tends to happen in the backing track or bass line of upbeat songs with a minor mode sound. The 2 most common patterns where it happens are a looping neighbor to 1,
Wanna get crazy? 'Cause I don't give a
and as part of a passing chromatic scale from 3 down to 1.
Wrap around my finger like a ring.
Now let's move on from the sound of flat 2 to its cultural meanings. I use the term hotness to refer to the intersecting expression of sexuality and confidence. Almost all the examples I've found are from songs that express one or more of these 3 messages. First, confidence.
I walk in like a timepiece. I go straight to VIP. I never pay for my drinks. My entourage behind me. My life's so
Second, sexuality. Third and finally, sexuality and confidence together.
Let's call you sexy. What's up, sexy? And you don't care what they say. I see every time you turn around, they say your name. Let's call you sexy. What's up, sexy?
In addition to these common messages, it's also worth noting that songs with a hot flat 2 do not typically express negative or ruminative emotions like sadness or grief. Of course, not all hot pop songs use a flat 2. Hotness is a huge topic in pop music more generally, but if there is a flat 2 in pop, the chances are high that the song is to some degree about hotness. One main reason for this might be the link between flat 2 and the exotic. Just like European classical music, popular music has a history of borrowing and appropriating music and sound from other cultures. Flat 2 evokes, more specifically, the sounds of scales from Andalusian, Arab, and klezmer musics, among others. The music industry, as part of a larger culture of white colonialism, often uses non-specific, supposedly foreign sounds as shorthand for quote-unquote world music and the exotic. As countless previous scholars have shown, this links directly to the fetishizing and objectifying of Black and brown women's bodies, in contrast to the portrayal of white women's bodies as chaste and sexually inexperienced. I argue that the predominant appearance of Flat 2 in contexts of hotness and sexual power references that legacy of exoticism, Orientalism, and more generally, racism and violence, even as some women of color still choose to reclaim that sound and the power that comes with it. Sometimes, reinforcing this connection between Flat 2 and the fetishizing of a non-specific other, artists use other musical elements, such as lyrics, timbres, and scale patterns, to amplify the link to exoticism. Jason Derulo's Talk Dirty begins with an apparently foreign woman's voice saying his name. Then, the song repeatedly says how sex transcends the language barrier in his exploits with women around the world.
Jason.
Been around the world, don't speak the language, but your booty don't need explaining. All I really need to understand is when you talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me.
Even without the assistance of lyrics, the combination of foreign marked timbres, like certain types of plucked strings and vocalizations, with a common melodic move called an augmented second between Flat 2 and the major scales 3, can reinforce the bond between Flat 2 and a non-specific exotic other. For example, here is the end of the chorus and the second verse to the global hit How You Like That by Blackpink with the accompanying music video.
Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that? Your girl need it all and that's 100. 패키중에 100내 몫을 원해. Come on, get some. 나 같이 막 어쩔.
Keeping in mind these typical musical and societal contexts for Flat 2 and pop music, let's touch on some exceptions and borderline cases. First, returning to the definition of Flat 2 itself, some songs push the boundaries between what does or doesn't sound like a Flat 2. There's more than one way to hear a pop song, and often more than one way to hear the home note, especially when there are only a few pitched notes in an entire song. I tend to hear a note as the home note when it is repeatedly emphasized or when other notes suggest a scalar context. Because Flat 2 is a half step above that home note, there's another note that it can also sound like, Flat 6, which is a half step above 5. Because of this, people might disagree about whether they experience a note as Flat 2 or Flat 6, and in some songs, the same pitch might sound like Flat 2 in one context and Flat 6 in another. Related to this is the commonality of rap hooks or backing tracks that use isolated half steps, with emphasis on the lower note, which seems to be at the border of what might sound like Flat 2.
I was born to flex, diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex, but nothing in this world that I like more than checks. Money. All I really wanna see is the
Yo, I got the money and the power now. The G5 will get me out there in the hour now. The Mac moving like crack, I'm selling powder now.
The meaning of Flat 2 can also be flexible. As I said before, most instances of Flat 2 happen in songs about hotness, but there are other contexts for this scale degree too. In a few cases, the song might be borrowing from or belonging to other genres, getting some distance from the hotness associations of Flat 2.
at the bar, 6 shots just beginning. That's when Dick hit put his hands on me. But you see,
it's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. If the way is hazy.
So as we approach or leave the boundaries of the pop genre, Flat 2 means slightly different things, or in some cases, may not be an appropriate label at all. Though Flat 2 might always carry the baggage of foreignness and colonialism, how that expresses in a song's meaning will vary from genre to genre. All in all, flat 2 is a unique sound in popular music. What starts as casually noticing a specific note becomes a way to notice genre boundaries, self-image, and appropriation in the music we hear around us. So next time you hear something that sounds like hot flat 2, I hope you'll join me in asking, why am I hearing this note as flat 2? And what does it mean here?